Hey everybody, this is John, aka Chess Student, back again with another lesson. The next lesson, it's been a long time since I posted one, and I want to thank everybody for the comments and encouragement you've been sending. I'm glad that you're getting a lot of help from watching these videos and learning how to play chess. So I decided, since things have slowed down for me a little bit, I've been pretty busy, I thought I'd go ahead and post the next lesson. This lesson is going to examine check and checkmate. And I'm not going to look at the different checkmating patterns, like how to checkmate with king and rook or king and queen, or how to checkmate with two knights and all that kind of stuff, because, quite frankly, I don't know all those, so I'm not qualified to teach them to you. But what I will be doing is learning those, because obviously, I need to know them myself. And then as I learn them, I will post videos for each one. So this is going to be a short video that's just going to demonstrate check, what it is, and then demonstrate checkmate and what it is. Okay. First, if you look at the position in front of you, we've got a black king is alone on the board, and we have the white queen on h8. We have a white knight on f6. We have a white rook on e4, a white bishop on b5, and a white pawn on d7. Every one of these pieces is attacking the black king, and what we're going to do is look at. This is a situation you'll probably never see in a real chess game. I'm just doing it for illustrative purposes. But what we'll do is look at each piece in turn and look at how it is attacking the black king. What check means is it means that the king is under attack by an enemy piece or pawn. It could be any of the pieces or any of the pawns. As long as it's attacking the king, then the king is said to be in check. That means it is under attack. Okay? So let's look at each one of these. Let's look at the queen first. The queen, you can see, is attacking the king. If you remember how the queen moves, then you know that the queen moves vertically or horizontally as many spaces as it wants. Until it runs into its own one of its own pieces or pawns, or an enemy piece or pawn. In this case, it's running into the enemy king. It's attacking the king. Okay, so that means that the king is in check from the queen. Look at the knight. Remember how the knight moves? 1, 2, 3. Black king is in check from the white knight. All right, the white knight is attacking the black king. So there's that. Now, the rook also attacking the black king because it moves horizontally or vertically. I told you wrong about the queen. The queen, to back up, it moves any direction it wants, as many squares as it wants. It's the rook that moves horizontally or vertically as many squares as it wants. And as you can see in this diagram, the rook is also giving check, what we call giving check, to the black king. The pawn on d7. Remember how the pawn captures? Well, in this case, that means that it's giving check to the black king. Okay? So the king is under attack by the pawn on d7. Therefore, the pawn on d7 is giving check. All right? Now, what about this bishop? Is the bishop giving check to the black king? No, it is not. Why? Because of the pawn. That pawn is blocking the communication, or, well, it's blocking the path between the bishop and the king. And so because of that, this bishop is not attacking the king. So the bishop is not giving check. Now, if this pawn were gone, then it would be. But since the pawn is there, then there's no check from the white bishop. All right. So this is an example of the different ways in which the different pieces give check. Now, what is checkmate? Well, checkmate is it's a form of check. Checkmate is a situation where the king is in check and cannot move out of check. There's one rule, one of the main rules in chess is that anytime your king is in check, you must, on that move, get your king out of check. You have no choice. It is a rule of chess. You can't do anything else until you get your king out of check. All right? In this case, The king is in check from three different pieces and one pawn. All right, all of these are giving check. The king is not in checkmate because the king can get out of check. It can go here. So the black piece would just move there. Well, I've got it with white to move, but that is a legal move. But the computer won't let me do it because of the way I have it set up. But anyway, the king would move to the F7 square, and it would be okay at that point. Still a bad, really, really hopeless situation for black, but it would get out of check. Now, and I'm going to clear the board, and we're going to examine, and I'm going to give you an example, a very simple example of what's called checkmate. This is called the scholar's mate. Now, look at this. Before I give you the answer, look at this position. Remember how the pieces move. Is there a way that you could give check? There's two different ways. One way is with the bishop. You could play bishop takes F7, the F7 pawn. Let's go ahead and do that and see what happens. All right, now the king is in check, see? But it is not checkmate. Why is it not checkmate? Because the king can move to either one of these squares and be safe. You can go here or here. Okay. Let's back up. Let me do that again, just in case you didn't see. The king can go here or here to get out of check. And that means that the king is safe and the game continues. Okay? But what happens if I use the other piece and I play queen takes F7? Boom. The game's over. This is an example of checkmate. Again, what checkmate means is that the king is in check and cannot move out of check. Any move that the king makes is illegal because it would still be in check. So in this case, the game is over. Even though there's only been 4 moves, even though there's only been 1 pawn taken, the game is over because this is checkmate. The queen is attacking the king. The king cannot move here because the queen is also attacking that square. The king can't move here because the queen is also attacking that square. Now, there's a couple of other different ways that a king could get out of check. But you're going to see that that's impossible in this case as well. You could take the piece that is giving check. Let me set up another situation. Let's put a black king on D7. Okay, we'll put a white queen at F5. And let's put a black bishop at D3. Now, let's say that it's black's move. Whoops. Black to move. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to set it with black to move. But anyway, it's not going to let me, so let me just do it this way. All right, the king, I'll just show you with arrows. The king is the white queen is attacking the black king. Okay, fine. The king is in check. Now, there's 2 different ways that in this position that the king could get out of check. One way is that the king could move to any of these squares. Okay, any one of these would get the king out of check. Notice that he can't move here because he'd still be in check. He can't move here because he'd still be in check. Just like that. All right. So let me just get those off. All right. The other way that black could get out of check, notice that this bishop is attacking the queen. So if the bishop takes the queen, then the king is no longer in check. Make sense? It's pretty simple. There's another way, and I'm about to run out of time, so I'll make this quick. There's another way, and what we could do is let's put a black bishop at C4, and we'll clear X at D3. Okay? Now what could happen is the black bishop could put itself in between. And I'm out of time. I'm about to run out of time here, so I'll catch you next time.